Now you're going to need your skin tone yarn, a tapestry needle, and some stuffing. Not very much, maybe this much, and then add more if we need it. Okay, to make her arms, you're going to want to make 2 of these because she's going to have 2 arms. We're going to start by making a magic circle using the same hook that we've been using. Chain 1 to secure, and then single crochet 6 times right into the center of our magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to close our magic circle. And I'm going to grab a stitch marker just so you can see what is happening. Once you get the hang of it though, you probably won't need a stitch marker. These are made in the round. So that was round 1, and we're getting ready to start round 2, and we're not going to join and chain. We're just going to go directly into the top of the first single crochet over here and put a single crochet increase, so 2 stitches in the same space right here. One, 2, and then we're going to single crochet 1 time in the next space. There we go. Increase in the next space. 1, 2, and then 1 time in the next space. And then we're going to increase in the last 2 spaces. You can see there's 2 spaces left. We're going to increase in both of those. And then that gives us 10 stitches in the round. Okay. Now rounds 3 through 30 is just 2 single crochet 1 time in each stitch. So 10 single crochets in each round until you get up to a total of 30 rows. I usually don't use a stitch marker and just kind of estimate where the stopping point is after I get 30 rows. As long as both arms are approximately the same size, you won't be able to tell. I'm using the stitch marker right now just so you can see what's actually happening. After I do 1 more row, I'm going to sew in the tail and then flip it right side out. Because right now we're looking at the wrong side of our stitches, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to single crochet in the round when you're looking at the wrong side of your stitches. Okay. Now I'm going to sew in this tail because it will be impossible to do it later. Not impossible, but it'll feel impossible. It'll be a lot of extra work for no reason. So I just use my tapestry needle and go under these stitches and just kind of reinforce the circle by closing it with my tail. Then you can snip that off. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's gonna disappear. Voila. Okay, so now we're looking at the right sides of my stitches, and I'm going to continue to single crochet until I get 30 rounds. But the reason we have the polyfill out already is because we're going to stuff our little arm as we go. Because if you wait to the end, which you can do it, it's just a little bit harder to make your arms the same size when you wait to the end. Maybe it's just personal preference. Maybe waiting to the end will work just fine for you. I like to stuff mine as I go. So I'm going to do a few more rounds here on camera with you, and then show you how I stuff as I go. and then I will show you how to make the legs. Okay, so I've got a little bit of the arm created there. Now I'm going to throw in some stuffing. I like to set the limb in my hand so I can kind of feel around. I can feel all of the walls around the crochet. So I can feel when the stuffing is pushing against the walls of the make so far. And I can kind of control how much pushing out it's going to do. So like expanding, I guess is a better word. This just helps me to get a more even and evenly paired stuff. So that's too much for just this little spot so far. Because you can easily stuff one arm or one leg more than the other one, and then it look like it's 2 inches longer just because you accidentally overstuffed one and not the other. So this is kind of how I control how much stuffing I'm putting in there, by keeping a hold of the entire make with my hand. Now I'm just going to continue to single crochet and stuff it as I go until I get 30 total rows. And you're going to want to make 2 of these and then come back and we will work on our legs. Just did all of my 30 rounds of single crochets. Now I'm just going to slip stitch here to tie off and cut my yarn and tie off. Now I have both of my little Gracie doll arms. We can set these to the side and get ready to make our legs. Okay, so to make our legs, we're going to start again with a magic circle. And we're going to single crochet 6 right into the center of our magic circle. Chain 1 to secure, then single crochet 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to pull our tail to close our magic circle up. And that is round 1. I'm going to go ahead and put my stitch marker here so we know where to end round 2. And for round 2, we're going to increase in each stitch around. So all of our 6 stitches in round 1 is going to have 2 single crochet stitches in it for round 2, and that is going to give us 12 stitches in the round. So I'm just going to insert my hook right into the top of the first single crochet and single crochet 2 for an increase, and do that 5 more times, giving me a total of 12 stitches. Okay, and I can pull out my stitch marker. There we go. Place my stitch marker in the 12th single crochet. For round 3, we are going to increase in the first stitch and then a single crochet in the next stitch. That's going to be our repeat. We're going to repeat that for a total of 6 times, giving us a total of 18 stitches in the round. So I'm going to increase in the first stitch, then single crochet in the next stitch. That's 1. Do that 5 more times. Increase, single crochet, that's 2. Increase, single crochet, that's 3. Increase, single crochet, that's 4. 5. Last time on our repeat, increase, and then single crochet in the stitch with the stitch marker for 6 repeats, giving us 18 stitches in the round. Rounds 4 and 5 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around, giving us a total of 18 stitches in the round. So rounds 3, 4, and 5 will all have 18 stitches. Okay, that ends round 4. Now move up my stitch marker and get ready for round 5. Okay, finishing up round 5, gonna pull up my stitch marker, and now I'm gonna go ahead and sew in this first tail with my tapestry needle. That way I can go ahead and get that out of the way. And again, I like to go under the stitches from round 1 just to secure our magic circle extra. And then you can go ahead and cut your yarn. And flip it right side out so you can see the right side of our stitches. And get ready for round 6. For round 6, we're going to start with 4 decreases. And for this round, I like to use the invisible decrease method, and I'm going to show you how to do that here. You just insert your hook under the front loop only of the first stitch, then whip your hook around and pick up the front loop only of the second stitch. And then you're just going to place a single crochet right there, and that will complete our decrease, and that's 1. So we're going to do that 3 more times. Split my yarn. There we go. And that's 2. Three. And 4. So we start with our 4 decreases. And then we're going to single crochet 10, giving us a total of 14 in the round. So 1, 2, 3, 9, and the 10th one is going to go where our stitch marker is. Put our stitch marker back and get ready for round 7. For round 7, and you can see that round 6 is how we start to get the shape of our little foot, and this is like the little toes area. For round 7, we're going to start by putting a single crochet in the first stitch, then decrease over the next 2 stitches. It's 1, and that's 2 decreases. Then we're going to single crochet 9, giving us a total of 12 stitches in the round. Eight and 9. Okay, so this is all of the funky stuff for our legs, the little foot of our legs, and the rest of it we're just going to single crochet 12 times in the round all the way up until we have a total of 42 rounds for our leg. After I do a couple rounds here of 12, I will start stuffing my leg as I go, just like I did with the arms. That will just make it easier for stuffing, but be sure to stuff each leg as close as possible to each other as you can, because like I said in the arms portion, it's very easy to overstuff one limb more than the other, making it look way bigger. So just be mindful of that when you are stuffing your legs. And I will come back after I finish this leg and my second leg, and then we will get started making our Gracie Doll accessories. Okay, I finished one leg, and all I have to do is tie off here for the second leg. I like to end my 42nd row kind of like in the back middle, and that just helps me line up my leg for assembly. So after I get my leg stuffed, I just kind of go like this to find the back middle, and that's where my last stitch is. So I'm just going to take that stitch out and make it a slip stitch instead. And then you can cut your yarn. Well, now we have 2 arms and 2 legs, and we need to make 2 buns for her hair. So I'm going to grab my hair color yarn again. So for me, it's this purple color. And the pattern says, using your hair color and your F crochet hook, single crochet 6 into a magic circle. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then pull the tail of your magic circle closed. Now I'm going to put a stitch marker in my 6th single crochet just so I know where it is. For round 2, we are going to increase in each stitch around, giving us a total of 12 stitches in the round. So going directly into the top of my first stitch, I'm going to place 2 single crochet stitches right there for an increase, and then repeat that 5 more times, giving me 12 stitches in the round. And I can remove my stitch marker, put my last 2 single crochets in the last stitch, and then put my stitch marker back. For round 3, we're going to increase in the first stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. That's our repeat. So we're going to go increase in the first stitch, single crochet in the next. Repeat that 5 more times. Increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, and that will give us 18 stitches in the round once we get back to our stitch marker. Increase, and then our last stitch where the stitch marker is will be a single crochet. And I can put my stitch marker back in there. For round 4, we're going to increase in the first stitch, then single crochet, then single crochet. So 2 single crochets after the increase, and that will be our repeat for round 4. So we're going to go increase in the first stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. Repeat that 5 more times. Increase, single crochet, single crochet, increase, single crochet, single crochet. For round 5, we're going to increase in the first stitch, then a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. This is going to give us 30 stitches in the round. 1, 2, 3. That's our first repeat. Do that 5 more times. Increase, single crochet 3, and keep repeating that around for a total of 6 times, giving us a total of 30 stitches in the round. Rounds 6, 7, and 8 are just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for a total of 30 single crochets in the round. So 3 more rows of 30 single crochet. Okay, finishing up round 8. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew in my tail, just so I don't forget to do that later. Okay, now for round 9, our repeat is going to go decrease, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and we're going to do that 6 times, and that's going to drop us down to 24 stitches in the round. So we're going to start with our decrease, and again it's going to be the invisible decrease like we did on the foot. Insert your hook under the front loop of the first stitch, whip your hook around and pick up the front loop of the second stitch, Then that's where you're going to place your single crochet, and that is our decrease. Then we're going to single crochet 3 more times. 1, 2, 3, and that's our repeat. So decrease again, front loop, decrease, and single crochet 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to continue repeating that 4 more times for a total of 6 repeats, giving us a total of 24 stitches in the round. Coming back to my stitch marker. Getting ready for round 10. We're going to decrease in the first stitch and then single crochet 2. So we're going to start with our decrease, single crochet, single crochet. That's our repeat. We're going to do that 5 more times. Decrease, single crochet, single crochet. We're going to repeat that all the way around for a total of 6 times, giving us a total of 18 stitches in the round. Once we're back to our stitch marker, we can pull that out and then put it in the last stitch. For round 11, we're going to decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet. That's going to be our repeat. We're going to do that all the way around for a total of 6 times, giving us a total of 12 stitches in the round. So decrease, single crochet, that's 1. Decrease, single crochet, that's 2. Repeat that all the way around. Then we're going to tie off, and then we need to make our second bun and then set it aside, and we will come back to get started on our accessories. This is our last single crochet in the round. And then we can tie off. I'm just going to go right back in that same spot for my slip stitch. And you do want to lightly stuff your little messy buns here. Not super like stuffed like we did the arms and legs. So just lightly, just a little bit of stuffing to give it some floof. You want to still be able to attach it to our doll. And if it's too stuffed, it won't attach easily. So I'll probably add just a little bit more stuffing than that right there, just to keep them shapely. I'm going to go ahead and make my second little bun, and then I will come back and we will get started on our accessories. Okay, after you finish your 2 little buns, it's time to make our accessories, and you are going to need a G 4.0 millimeter crochet hook, an H 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, your accessories color of yarn, so this is your shoes and your bow, and your dress color of yarn. We're going to start with our dress. To make our dress, we will be using both of these 2 hooks, but we're going to start with our G, and we're going to start by pulling out a decent amount of working yarn to use for our dress straps. So I'm just pulling this out now to save me from sewing in a tail or 2 later because I'm lazy. It doesn't take much. So just pull out some. This is probably more than enough, but I'm just going to set it aside and let it kind of dangle on its own. Yay, yarn bomb. And using my G 4.0 millimeter crochet hook, I'm going to chain 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then for row 1, I'm going to skip the back bump closest to my hook. So that's going to be this guy right here. And I'm going to insert my hook into the second back bump. That's where I'm going to place my first single crochet. And I'm just going to single crochet one time in each back bump all the way down, giving me a total of 12 stitches in the row. 11 and 12. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. Single crochet increase here in the first stitch. Then I'm going to single crochet 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to increase in the last stitch, giving me a total of 14 stitches for row 2. Chain 1 and turn our work. For row 3, I'm just going to single crochet one time in each of the 14 stitches, giving me 14 stitches again for the total of row 3. Chain 1 and turn my work. For row 4, I'm going to increase here in the first stitch, single crochet in the next 12 stitches, 11, 12, and then increase in the last stitch, giving us a total of 16 stitches in the row. Chain 1 and turn our work. For row 5, I'm just going to single crochet one time in each stitch across, giving us again 16 stitches in the row. Chain 1 and turn our work. For row 6, I'm going to increase in the first stitch, single crochet in the next 14 stitches, and then I'm going to end with an increase, giving us a total of 18 stitches for row 6, and then we can go ahead and tie off. This is the back piece of our dress, and it is also where the straps will be attached here in a little bit. Increase in the last stitch and tie off. Now we can repeat those same steps again for the front piece of our dress. So we're going to just repeat rows 1 through 6, but we're not going to tie off this time. I'm going to do rows 1 through 6 off camera, and then I will come back for row 7 with you guys here on camera. You do not have to leave working yarn for the front piece. That's just on the back piece, because that's the yarn we're going to use for our straps of our dress. So for the second piece of our dress, you just crochet rows 1 through 6, and then I will come back and do row 7 here on camera. Okay, just finished with row 6 for the front piece of our little Gracie doll dress, and now I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work to get ready for row 7, which is just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way across for a total of 18 stitches in the row. 16, 17, 18. Then I'm just going to lay that down and grab this piece and see where this yarn, the tail is. That's the side I'm going to start in, and I'm just going to continue right along and single crochet 18 more in this half. So I've got 18 plus 18, giving us a total of 36 stitches in the row. So we've got 18 more. That's 1, 2, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so that completes row 7. Now we are going to turn this into a dress shape. So we're going to fold these two without letting them get twisted, just like this. And I'm going to insert my hook into the top of the first stitch in row 7 to join, and then I'm going to chain 2. Now we're going to switch to our H 5.0 millimeter crochet hook for the skirt portion of our dress, and after we finish the skirt portion, we'll come back and do the straps with this leftover bit right here. So we are going to put 2 double crochet stitches in each space all the way around, giving us a total of 72 stitches in the row. And this is row 8. I'm just going to continue putting 2 double crochet stitches in each stitch, and I will come back in just a second. Okay, finishing up row 8. Going to join into the top of my first double crochet and chain 2. And I'm not going to turn. You won't be turning your work after each of these skirt rows. Now we are just going to double crochet 1 time in each stitch, giving us a total of 72 stitches in the row. And we're going to do this for the full length of our dress. And it's going to go a little bit past, like almost like knee length, I guess, is what it would be if she had knees. If you wanted your dress to be like full length or maxi, you would just add a couple more rows to the skirt portion of the dress. I'm not 100% sure how many rows because I haven't wrote that down yet. So I'm just going to tell you here in a second how many rows that we're going to be doing of 72 double crochets, but just double crochet 1 time in each stitch all the way around, join into the top of the first double crochet and chain 2 and continue making rows of this, and I will tell you with camera magic in just a second how many actual rows you will need to do for the skirt portion of your Gracie doll dress. Okay, I just finished the skirt portion of our little dress, and it looks like we had a total of 18 rows for our dress. So rows 9 through 18 was the double crochet in 1 stitch all the way around, and that gives us a really nice pretty length of dress for our Gracie doll. Now we are going to come back to this strand of yarn that we left attached at the beginning and make our straps. So to do this, we are going to insert our hook right here into this stitch where the yarn is coming out of, and then I'm going to grab the working yarn and pull up a loop, and then the pattern says to chain 9, and we are switching back to our G hook, by the way. So we're going to chain 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the pattern says to skip the first 4 back bumps. So if you look at the back bumps, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that we're going to skip, and then we're going to put our hook into the 5th back bump, and that's where we're going to place our single crochet, and that's 1. We're going to single crochet 5 back down this chain. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we are going to slip stitch back into this space right here where our chain kind of came out of. So we're going to place a slip stitch right here. Then after we place our slip stitch, we're going to single crochet across the back here of our dress. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to single crochet 10 across the back, and that leaves us with 1 more open space, because remember this row had 12 stitches in it. One of the stitches is the slip stitch, then we have 10, and then we have 1 space left. So that is intentional, so that wasn't on accident. Now we're going to chain 9 again. Then we are going to skip the first 4 chains again. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the 5th back bump, and then single crochet 5 back down our chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to slip stitch here in this last open space and tie off. So you can go ahead and cut your yarn. It didn't take much. And pull through. And then we will sew in that tail, but now we have our two little dress straps, and these little chain spots will be what hooks around the buttons. Go ahead and cut my yarn down here as well after row 18 and tie off. Now I'm going to sew in all of my tails and attach two buttons right here. Two little wooden buttons that I have in my stash are going to be sewn on right here, and then this will be the dress for our Gracie doll. I'm going to do all of that off camera because it's pretty self-explanatory, but let's go ahead and set this aside for now and make her shoes and bow. We're going to go back to our H hook. This is what our shoe is going to look like. I've already made one of our shoes. This is what we're going for. So we'll go ahead and make the second shoe here on camera using our H hook and your accessory colored yarn. We are going to make a magic circle and single crochet 6 into the magic circle. The instructions are just like the foot. 3, 4, 5, 6. Only difference is we're using this hook and we're going to stop way before 42 rows. Increase in each space. This is made in the round just like the foot was. Now we're going to increase in each space all the way around, giving us a total of 12 single crochets in the round. That's one increase. 5 and one more is 6. Now for round 3, we're going to single crochet increase in the first stitch, then single crochet in the next stitch. That's our repeat. Do that for a total of 6 times, giving us a total of 18 stitches in the round. So increase, single crochet, that's 1, increase, single crochet 2, increase, single crochet 3, repeat that 3 more times. Okay, 6, that gives us 18 stitches in the round. 1, 2, 3 rounds total. For rounds 4 and 5, I'm just going to single crochet 1 time in each stitch around, giving us a total of 18 stitches in the round. So we've got 2 more rounds where we just do 1 single crochet in each stitch. Okay, I finished my 2 rows of 18, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total rounds finished, and I went ahead and sewed in my first tail too. You've seen me do that all through this tutorial, so I just went ahead and did that one off camera. Now we're going to start our decrease rounds. We're going to go 4 decreases and then 10 single crochets, giving us a total of 14 stitches in the round. So to do our decreases again, we're going to go under the front loop of the first stitch, whip our hook around under the front loop of the second stitch, and place our decrease there. That's 1. Again for 2, and then 3, 1 more, and that gives us 4. Now we single crochet 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 where the stitch marker is. Move our stitch marker up. Next round is going to start with 1 single crochet. Then we're going to decrease 2 times. That's 1. And that's 2. Then we're going to single crochet 9 times, giving us a total of 12 stitches in the round. And last space is where my stitch marker is. Now we're going to single crochet one time in each stitch around, giving us a total of 12 stitches. 11 and 12. Move up our stitch marker. Then we're going to single crochet one time in each stitch around again for 12. And then for round 9, which is the last round of our little shoe, we are just going to single crochet 9. Seven, 8, 9. That way we can end on the heel portion. Actually, we're going to single crochet 8 and then slip stitch in the 9th spot. So I single crocheted 8, and then I'm going to slip stitch here in the 9th space and cut off my yarn. All I have to do is sew in that last tail, and then my little shoes are going to be complete. And this is what they look like on her little feet. Now let's get started with her bow. This bow is really super easy. You can use any hook size that you want. I'm just going to use the H since that's what I have here handy. Okay, we're going to make a slip knot and then chain as wide as you want the bow to be. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's chain 13 for our bow. Now we are going to half double crochet back down, skipping the chain closest to our hook, and starting right here, I'm going to half double crochet 12. I am not putting mine in the back bumps this time. 2, 3, 10, 11, and 12. Chain 1 and turn our work. Now I'm going to half double crochet 12, but this time in the back loop only. So instead of going here under both loops like I normally would, I'm just going to insert my hook here under the back loop only. This will give our bow a little bit of texture. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn our work and continue making rows with half double crochets in the back loop only until you have a total of 5 rows. So we're going to do 3 more rows of half double crochet, back loop only, chain 1 and turn, and then we will come back and squish it into a bow shape. Okay, I just completed my 5 rows of 12 half double crochets in the back loop only. I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn, and then I'm going to pull off about 3 feet of yarn and set that aside for our squishing. You can go ahead and tie off, and I will be using this nylon headband just because I bought 100 of them off of Amazon, but if you don't have these, you can just chain with some yarn to make your headband for your Gracie doll. After we get our little rectangle here, I'm going to sew in my tails really fast. Okay, after you get your tails sewn in, we are going to squish our rectangle into a bow in the center like this, and that's going to make the bow shape. So take your scrap yarn, wrap it around. Let's see, I want this to be the front of my bow, and this can be the back. So this is going to be the back, and I'm just going to start by tying a knot right here in the center. I like to loop my yarn twice before I pull. It just helps it stay put. Tie it pretty tight, and a double knot here. Now I'm just going to wrap the long end of my yarn around the center of my bow 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Now I'm going to, actually let's do 6. Now I'm going to pick up my headband, lay it right there next to where I've been wrapping my yarn and continue wrapping. So this is 7, pull it through, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's see how that looks. 12 looks nice. So we'll go ahead and lay it down flat again so we can see the back, tie it with a double knot, and then sew in our tails. Then her little headband is complete. And now we can move on to video number 3, which is the assembly portion, which is where I show you guys how we're going to crochet this Gracie doll together and not actually have to sew on any of her limbs or pieces. So after I get these tails sewn in, I will meet you guys over in video 3 for the assembly portion of your Gracie doll.